Welcome to our 27th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. We are here today to remember and honor a man who led a movement that made him a martyr for justice. Presently, his life and legacy is under threat of trying to be erased. So more than ever, we need to educate, enlighten, and energize ourselves and each other. We must peacefully preserve, armed with an accurate and full history, and fortified with the fervor of MLK, continue his work toward a better world. Our Master of Ceremonies today is Eric Bungwe. Eric is originally from Cameroon, Central Africa. He completed his undergraduate studies there before earning a fully funded graduate degree at Free University of Brussels. In Belgium, he earned a master's degree in medical and pharmaceutical sciences and a PhD in immunogenetics from the University of Brussels. He moved to the US in 2016 for scientific research on diabetes and human genetics related projects at the University of Pennsylvania. In 2020, he settled in Fitchburg. Since 2022, he's been a member of the Montachusett Martin Luther King Coalition. Eric also serves on the Fitchburg Public Library Trustees, Board of Trustees, and the Juneteenth Collaborative Committee. He is a fervent supporter of the American Civil Liberties Union. Please join me in welcoming Eric as the Master of Ceremonies for our 27th annual MLK Jr. celebration.
Thank you, Linda. It's such an honor and a privilege for me to be the facilitator of a program of this magnitude and significance. In 2022, when I joined the coalition, it was on record that one member has been serving the coalition for 22 years, and I immediately set that as my record. What I soon realized was that that was a moving target. Linda, thank you for your leadership. Linda has been running this organization and the leadership for the past 25 years. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your mentorship. You are a role model to me. Thanks everyone for coming. What do you think about our welcome music? Thank you. And this came to us from the Daniel Stennis brothers, Theo and David, and Jerry Green. Thank you, guys. While some of us busy thinking about how we will make ends meet for our families with the busy work that we do, we have some people in a community in our society who have answered the call to public service. They carry on their shoulders the burden of their families and our burdens as well. They want to make sure the city is running, the programs of the city are running as they should be. And that is why, so it is my silver privilege to introduce to you Mayor Squalier. Samantha, popularly known as Sam Squalier, is currently serving her second term as the 40th mayor and is the third female mayor of the city of Fitchburg. She is a lifelong resident of Fitchburg and former student of Fitchburg Public Schools. Ms. Squalier has more than 25 years of experience in architectural building engineering and project management. She has also served in a volunteer capacity on numerous boards throughout the city, including the Friends of Fitchburg Abolitionist Pact, Keep Fitchburg Beautiful, Stratton Place, Fitchburg Cultural Alliance, Friends of Fitchburg Dogs, and Fitchburg Farmers Market, among other endeavors. Please join me to welcome the Mayor of Fitchburg, Samantha Squalier.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone, to our 27th annual MLK celebration event. We gather today in the shadow and the shelter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words. Words that were never designed to sit quietly on posters. They were designed to move people. Dr. King wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." He wrote those words from a jail cell in Birmingham, not from a comfortable stage, because he was living the consequences of injustice in real time. He was naming a civic law of gravity. What happens to one of us does not stay contained. Rights do not erode one household at a time. They erode one permission at a time. When our society accepts that some people can be singled out, everyone's protections get weaker, and the whole society becomes easier to break. In the 1960s, there were signs over doors that read "whites only" and "colored" on restaurants, restrooms, water fountains, waiting rooms, and public entrances. Lines were drawn in law, and violence was used to enforce those lines. People were told who belonged and who did not, and people were punished for insisting on basic dignity. Dr. King met that era with disciplined nonviolence and with a refusal to let hate dictate the rules of engagement. In the 2020s, the labels have changed and the methods have been updated, but the playbook of division is familiar. The same cancerous patterns showing of reducing human beings into categories instead of neighbors. The same move letting fear do our governing. The same lie calling harm order and calling intimidation security. Dr. King gave us a warning and a remedy in the same breath. He said, "Returning hate for hate multiplies hate." And then he draws the line where every generation has to decide what it will become. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Light, referenced here, is not softness. It is courage with discipline. It meant that even under dogs and fire hoses, under threats and bombings, Dr. King refused to surrender his soul to the tactics of the opponents. He would not become what he was fighting. And what does that mean today? It means we must not treat dehumanization as politics as usual. We must not normalize contempt. We cannot hand our neighbors over to rumor and suspicion. We must not accept a world where families feel they have to keep their heads down in order to feel safe, where you can be threatened for simply moving through daily life. Dr. King did not ask people to wait for a better time. He said the time is always right to do what is right. Not when it's convenient, not when it is popular, when it is right. That starts with truth. Truth-telling is nonviolence in action, and it is how we cut through misinformation before it spreads. So, what would Dr. King do today? I believe that he would keep building what he called the beloved community. He would organize across lines that are designed to divide us through race, language, income, or party. He would insist that faith leaders, labor leaders, students, Small business owners, educators, and local officials stand together for human dignity. He would reject cruelty and reject chaos, leaving no excuse to dismiss the moral claim. He would demand justice directly, peacefully, persistently, and he would keep calling us back to the standard that we claim to believe in. So what should we do now? We must speak to each other with decency, even when we disagree, with honesty and directness. We must refute misinformation, refuse blaming, and refuse language shifts that turn our neighbors into political targets. We support organizations doing that direct service. Show up at meetings, not to perform anger, but to insist on fairness in our treatment. Teach our children that courage includes compassion, and our rights are equal for all. Fitchburg city government is where people come when they need a permit, a service, an answer, a safe place to ask for help, or a path through a problem. Our responsibility is to serve people with professionalism, fairness, and dignity. Every resident should feel that they belong in our city. No one should feel like they have to disappear to be safe enough for our public spaces. Dr. King's work was never meant to inspire perfect people. It was meant to inspire disciplined people. People who chose the harder path again and again. People who refused to give hate the last word. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, Dr. King said. That arc bends because ordinary people put their hands on it and pull. So today, Fitchburg, we must continue to pull. Pull towards dignity, towards fairness, towards a courage that does not need to shout to be strong. Pull towards a community where people are treated as we wish to be treated, equally as neighbors. Let's continue to pull as Dr. King would wish that we would today, towards justice, towards compassion, with discipline, and with a refusal to let darkness set the terms of our engagement with others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for those wonderful opening remarks. wonderful performance. What a wonderful performance. Thank you so much, guys. This song is on the back of the program. If you want to see the lyrics on the back of the program, you have it there. While Ayana comes up, one thing I do usually remind myself during this day is that we as Americans, despite your ethnic background, and this was always highlighted by Dr. King, know that we have a common destiny. As you pursue happiness and a decent life for your family, you enable that for your neighbor. That is what it means to choose community over service. Ayana Lewis will perform the poetry, When Sleeping Dogs Lie.
Hello, my name is Ayana Lewis. I'm a senior at FHS High School, and I'll be reading When Sleeping Dogs Lie. The rock that cracks the stone, the wave that breaks the shore, salami, eggs, and bacon. Reading words off a page in a tone that signals the virtue in my visage, writing for people smiling and shimmering in every crowd, waiting for my cherry red smile and big black pigtails to pull a laugh from every throat. A monolith not to mediocrity, but history. I will not be a picture of what has happened before, though the fabric of the past has formed the clothes I wear. I will not laugh with the faces who think that these very words are a joke, though their tone is not sorrowful. I will not write for those who will not take the words etched in my skin as anything less than my scripture. These words are not for you, the vindicated, the happy, the safe. They are for the worried, the afraid, the despondent, damaged many who wait for their time to be the safe. I look to my brothers, to my sisters, to my siblings. You are not just your own savior. You are the art that comforts those whose hearts are just as lost. You are the people in the future I not only write for, but the hope. You are my hope. Do not let the icy weather wear the colors of your culture. Do not let the fear and ignorance foster hate. Do not hide for those who only want you gone. Survive. Survive so we can stand in the future that is already ours. This is not for the comforted, but the disturbed, for their laugh and for their light. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.
Thank you, Ayana. I am aware that Father Dario is now with us. Father Dario, please, if you could come up for the invocation. Thank you.
As we gather today to honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 2 months before he was murdered, Martin Luther King preached on Sunday, February 4th, 1968, his drum major instinct sermon from the pulpit of the Baptist Church. On that Sunday, he told his congregation, like it was a premonition of his death, that he would like to be said at his funeral. I would like for somebody to say that that day, Martin Luther King tried to love somebody. During his sermon, he imagined his own funeral. He invited the congregation not to dwell on his life's achievements, including him being awarded the Nobel Prize of Peace. King asked to be remembered as one who tried to give his life serving others. He implored his congregation that Sunday to remember his attempts to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and comfort prisoners. Yes, he said, if you want to say that I'm a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drawn major for righteousness, he said. All of the other shallow things will not matter. So Bishop Paul Coakley, president of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, honored the work done by Martin Luther King, reminded us to take time to reflect on his legacy. He said, I encourage you to take time to reflect on how the Holy Spirit may be inviting you to join others in addressing the challenges within our families, neighborhoods, and communities. And may we lead the way in building a society rooted in justice, peace, righteousness, and the dignity of every human being. Let me just finish this with a prayer inspired by Dr. King. I invite you, please rise as we pray. And as we face the challenges of these times in our own city, our own nation, let me just remember Dr. Martin Luther King's own words and prayers. Most gracious and all-wise God, help us to work with renewed vigor for a worldless world, for a better distribution of wealth, and for a brotherhood that transcends color and race. Help us to really reflect and mirror the message that Jesus Christ shared with us. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. For the number of years I have attended this event, one of the musicians, Theo Demosthenes, has always graced the occasion. Thank you, Theo. And at this time, Theo would perform for us Amazing Grace. You're welcome, Theo.
Thank you, Eric, for the introduction. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. I'm not going to be playing Amazing Grace. After rehearsing with my brother David and Dr. Babatunde, who's the other saxophonist who couldn't be here today, unfortunately, he caught the flu, we realized there was a song that we wanted to perform that we felt was a bit more appropriate, not just for this day, but for the date and time that we're in this year. So if you know it, sing along. If you don't, please enjoy. your firstborn dad. Let my people go. Go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land. Pharaoh, let my people go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land. Pharaoh,
For those who don't know me, my name is Natalie Higgins. I'm the state representative in the city of Leominster, right next door. I'm just really grateful. I think this is my 10th MLK Day, and I'm just really grateful to be with you all today for this program. You included in the program a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King: "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." And I don't know about you, but it's getting harder and harder to kind of hold on to that hope. And I'm really, really grateful for spaces like this. We're often preaching to the choir, but thinking about how we can bring this hope and this energy out into the community each and every day, not just on today, and hope for a more just and a more equitable world. I'm really grateful to have a partner in Rep. Kushmarek in these Twin Cities. While we may have a rivalry, we back each other up, and it's just really grateful to have a partner in him in all of this good work.
Thank you, Representative Higgins. I'm thrilled to have you as a partner in the legislature and to call you a friend and a colleague. And thank you once again for always making the long trek from Leominster to join us here. You know, as Rep. Higgins just said, I think there'd be a lot of reason to find despair and hopelessness in this moment, to see yet again a weaponization of the federal government against people of color and minorities in our community. It would be easy to become cynical and distrustful in each other, in our own communities, and in our institutions. But in a time similarly fractured, similarly violent towards civic leaders and civil leaders and political leaders, we find ourselves yet again at a crossroads. And if we're looking for hope and for inspiration, I don't think we need to look much further than Martin Luther King Jr. to find that inspiration and to find that blueprint and that hope. And I think if we're waiting for the next great leader to descend upon us and lead us out of this darkness, that would be a mistake. And there'd be a misinterpretation of what Martin Luther King taught us all. If we're waiting for one person to guide us out of this darkness from Washington, D.C., or from some other corner of our country or the world, we will fail. But if we take his teachings to heart and realize that in each of us, in each of our communities, in each of our neighborhoods, in each of our families, we have the power and the responsibility to each other and to ourselves and to our communities and to this country to each work together, to look to our neighbors, to look to our communities and our faith institutions, and realize that together we are so much stronger than any one person. Together we can do so much. Together we can lead our communities and our nation out of the darkness once again and into the light. So I want to thank each of you for being here today, because I see the light in each one of you, I see the power in each one of you, and I see the antidote to the cynicism and the despair and the hopelessness in each one of you. And know that together This will be how we fix our great nation, and together this will be how we restore dignity to all human beings in this great country and upon this earth. Thank you all.
Thank you, too. Thank you, State Representatives Higgins and Koshmarek. We also have with us the president of the Montachusett Community College, and that is President Van der Hoeven.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Van der Hoeven, and I'm the president of Montachusett Community College. And it is an honor to be here with you again. I want to thank our students, the musicians who have come here today to spend their day and their talents with us. As I've been sitting here for the last few minutes, I'm thinking two thoughts. One, I can't believe that it has been only 1 year since we were here having a roundtable conversation about what the coming year would be like with the new administration, and what the year would be like and how we were going to handle and deal with the challenges in higher education. The second thought I have is, has it only been 1 year since we were here talking about those exact challenges? I know that we at the Mount, we have not changed our mission. We have not changed our objectives. We have not changed our tactics. We have not changed anything in our pursuit to create an environment where all are welcome to pursue their education. For everyone in North Central Massachusetts to be able to come and to experience a welcoming environment. Are we perfect? No. Do we still have things to do to get things right? Absolutely. But we will not change our approach in being a welcoming place in North Central Massachusetts for all to pursue their education. Now, on a personal note, and forgive me, I'm going to make the next couple of moments about myself. And I don't like doing that. Those of you who do know me in the room, I do not like making things about myself, but I'm going to do that, and I hope that there's a valid reason for it. Martin Luther King Day, for me, has become something different over the last 6 years than what it was prior to that. And the reason for that is that it was 6 years ago today, it was 7 years ago today, that I lost my father. And so every year now, when I approach Martin Luther King Day, I tend to start to visualize this day as sort of a Father's Day, in thinking about what I lost with the loss of my own father. And I had a challenging relationship often with my father, but as I approach Martin Luther King Day, I start to think about the lessons that he taught me and the legacy that he gave me as my father, in hopes that I continue to make him proud. And I think that in some respects, that's the way many folks view Martin Luther King Day as well. Have we made him proud? Have we carried on a tradition? Have we carried on a legacy of providing a place for people to feel welcome, to feel respected? And As has been said numerous times, Representative Kushmerek, your point about are we waiting for one particular leader? Are we, each and every one of us, doing what we can in our communities? But it leaves me with a rhetorical question that I'm going to end my remarks with, because I don't know yet if I have the answer. And the rhetorical question that I'm going to ask out loud of myself before you today is, as the president of Montachusett Community College, as the leader of that institution, what will I do? And who will I be when they come to my doorstep? What will I do and what will I be when they come to the doorstep of Montachusett Community College? What will I do and what will I be when they come to Arch Street, which is where I happen to live? That's the question that I ask myself, and that's the question that I hope that I can answer while making my father and making Martin Luther King proud of my actions. Thank you.
Thank you, President van der Hoeven. I believe that after a very busy morning, everybody is as hungry as I am. So this should be the time that we can eat something. And the restaurant was carefully chosen, one of the best in town, BFK Cuisine. So I invite you all to join me. But before we do that, I would invite one of ours, Pastor Annie Bellman, to bless the food. And when we do start after that, I will, if you could let the musicians and those who have something to do in the program after go first. Enjoy your food. Pastor Annie.
Hello, everyone. You hungry yet? You hungry yet? I know everybody come for lunch. So before we say our grace and invoke the spirit of Martin Luther King as he always prayed, we will just like to let you know a few things going on. There's a couple of dishes back there that are for vegetarians, so they'll be able to help you there. Then the two coolers, the two blue coolers are punch, and then the orange one is lemonade. And then we do have water, coffee, and tea. And we have our wonderful Fitchburg High School and Fitchburg College to help us to serve, which is what Martin Luther King is all about, right? So this is our day of service. So give them a great big round of applause. A big one. And we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming out to serve today. So Martin Luther King always expressed his blessings with goodness and divine guidance. And he's always talking about reach out and touch somebody's hand. Well, in today's society, we probably can't do all of that. And if you do, please make sure, we have sanitizer, we have bathrooms, you can wash your hands, because we don't want anybody to get sick. But in your spirit, you can reach out and touch somebody's hand, because we are celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. when he said for us to do that, and gratitude and in love and encourage. So the words that he speak, let them be in our heart. So as we bless our food today for the nourishment of our bodies and for the healing of some people, you may not want to nourish your bodies, but please nourish your bodies. Your body is the temple. So make sure your body is nourished. We have salads and everything else back there. So do not leave today without nourishing yourself. So in all things, let our conversation today be about love and gratitude and peace that Martin Luther King has so graciously left us with. So we thank you, God. We thank you for allowing us to just be here together, to touch each other in love, touch each other in spirit, and to have a meal and a conversation. And may our conversations be that pleasing in your sight. And we thank our folks that graced us with the meal today. And again, we want to thank our students from the community, from Fitchburg State University, and also from Fitchburg High School. It's a lot of them here, so don't be shy. They're here to help you, and they're here to serve today. So this is their moment of service. So we thank you, God, for the food we're about to receive. Before I leave, I just wanted to make one announcement. And it's called Can We Talk? Sharing Community Trauma and Healing. So if you're expressing any traumas or any grief, Can We Talk can help. So join us every second Thursday of the month for Can We Talk, where we have a meal and a conversation together on healing in our traumas. Our meetings are at Galilee Spiritual Life Center, First Parish UU Church, 923 Main Street. If we look down the street, we can see the big steeple over there by the Common. So join us. There's a flyer there if you have any additional information. There's these QR code things. Listen, I just learned how to do this. So you put your phone on it, and then when the little yellow, you put your camera on, and then when the little yellow button come up, push it. And then you'll get a lot of different information, and you'll be able to contact us. So again, we say thank you, we say bless you, and we say thank you for blessing our food, and thank you, young people, for your service. Amen, 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 amen.
We would have right now a performance from FSU drumline group, and in the absence of Amy McLaughlin, who could not be present with the group, a member of the group could kindly come up, introduce the group, and proceed with their performance.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josh. We are the Fitchburg State Drumline. We are brand new to the university this year. Thank you to Fitchburg State President Donna Hodge for making this happen for all of us. We are so happy to be here and so glad to have this opportunity. Hope you enjoy our performances. Thank you.
Great performance. Thank you so much. We will have, before we get to the keynote, I would just ask, we have another recite of a poem by Angel Waina Ina. Is going to present for us a poem by Falana Zion. Angel.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. My name is Angel, but I go by Daisy. I am a junior at FHS High School, and today I am here to read to you a poem that reminds us to always never forget our roots and always remember we have a place to call home. The poem title is Africa, My Home, My Pride. Africa, my home, where the sun rises bold, where the rivers of wisdom and stories are told, a land carved by time, a cradle of birth, from deserts to rainforests, the soul of the earth. Mountains that pierce through a cerulean sky, and valleys that sing as the soft winds pass by. The rhythm of drums like a heartbeat alive, in Africa's spirit I'm rooted, I thrive. From the Nile's endless flow to Kilimanjaro's heights, earth landscape a marvelous and beacon of light. Savannas that stretch near the stars, endless gaze, in Africa's wild I wonder I'm dazed. Here my ancestors walked with pride in their stride. They built, they believed, and in struggles they tried. Through scars, through triumph, their courage endures. In the veins of my people, a strength pure and sure. The colors of dusk, painted skies, in the West Africa's warmth, in its soil I find rest. Its language is many, its voices diverse. Each story a blessing, a verse upon a verse. The laughter of children, the old, wise, and kind, in Africa's heart I find peace of mind. The baobabs stand, ancient guardians of lore. In the soul of this land I am rich, I am more. Not merely my birthplace, but my spirit's embrace. Africa, my pride, my heartbeat, my grace. With every dawn's promise, every night's calm, Africa, my rhythm, my song, my psalm. So I walk through your fields with my head held high. Africa, my home, where my dream lies. Thank you.
Stacy Luster is our keynote speaker today. Stacy is a third-generation Worcesterite who has secured her place in Worcester's history by becoming the only African-American woman to be elected to the Worcester City Council. Stacy is a proud graduate of the Worcester Public Schools who went on to graduate from St. John's University in New York, Boston University School of Law, and is admitted to practice law in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Stacy has given back to the community in many ways, in many volunteer capacities, including serving on the Massachusetts Board of Higher Education, Board of Trustees, chairperson for the Quinsigamond Community College, and past president of the Board of Trustees for Mechanics Hall, where she spearheaded the commissioning of portraits of Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, William and Martha Brown, for permanent installation into the historically all-white 19th Great Hall Portrait Gallery. Stacy is a consummate public servant who has dedicated her professional life to public education through leadership positions at the executive level of the Worcester Public Schools, Quinsigamond Community College, Worcester State University, and is currently serving as General Counsel and Vice President of Personnel Services at Fitchburg State University. Please warmly welcome Stacy Luster.
Good afternoon. I am hoping that the students who have been serving today can come and join us and sit down at the tables. Is everybody sitting down? Oh, I see you back there. There are seats up front if you're looking for seats. Thank you to the Martin Luther King Coalition especially Linda Mason, who I first met at St. Peter's Catholic Church in Worcester. And I'd also like to thank President Donna Hodge from Fitchburg State University for bringing me into the Fitchburg community. Thank you, Donna. And I really want to thank the drum line for helping, get the energy up. That was just like, yeah, now let's keep the energy going, people. Let's keep the energy going. I was going to acknowledge the leaders in the room, like Mayor Sam and the state representatives and the other college presidents, but that happens naturally. That's what we do at these events, right? But who we often forget to acknowledge are the student leaders, right? So there are a lot of student leaders in this room. Can the student leaders, with your plates or without your plates, please stand up, because you are the future. You are the ones who we're waiting for. Come on, band. You are the student leaders. You are the ones that we are waiting for. Please stand. Please stand if you're able to. Yes. 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 You are the ones who we are waiting for. You are the ones that we need. I also want to acknowledge if there are any clergy in the room, because this is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, and his mission and his work was based in faith. And so if there are any clergy in the room, any Eucharistic ministers, any deacons, any altar servers. Yes, thank you, Father. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote a lot of things, and so I'm glad that I decided to focus on my story and really try to make it relatable to the young folks. So folks who have already had your journey, I hope it won't be too boring, but I'm trying to talk to the young folks here today. Everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And it's interesting because, we always acknowledge the leaders, but we tend to kind of ignore the servers. And the servants are the leaders. You cannot be a true leader without being a servant. And so that's why I take a lot of pride in having made a career out of being a public servant. And sometimes people, shy away from that term because they think it's demeaning, but it's not. It is not. Who washed people's feet? Jesus washed people's feet to demonstrate service and being a servant. This afternoon, I would like to share my journey of how I came from low-income public housing in Worcester to being an attorney and general counsel for Fitchburg State University. I think I will focus it on a couple of principles. Education, which is what I've been asked to speak to. Faith and love and God's grace. So education is the game changer. So we're going to start with that. And I'm going to try to set the pace, set the stage a little bit by talking about how education is what makes it possible. How many of the high school students in the room plan to go to college? Very good, very good. Now, I'm not going to call you out, but I imagine that there's a few of you who didn't raise your hand. And that's okay. You may have a plan. But I do want you to know that when I talk to elementary school students, I don't ask them if they plan to go to middle school. It's the next step. When you talk to middle school students, you don't ask them, do they plan to go to high school? It's the next step. And the same thing about when you're in high school. College is the next step. Now, sometimes people think, well, there's a new thing people want to talk about with education, talking about ROI. Do high school students know ROI? Return on investment. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Well, the data shows that people who get a bachelor's degree make at least twice as much as those who don't. Those are pretty good odds. Those are pretty good odds. And if you go to graduate school, it's even more. Law school is a graduate school. Now let me ask another question. Now, I know, again, you grown folks, you all know this stuff. Who has bad credit? People that have debt or people that have no debt? Who has bad credit? If you raise your hand if you think it's people that have debt that have the bad credit. Right here. And who thinks it's people that don't have debt that have the bad credit? Oh, see, y'all are on the fence. Now, see, Martin Luther King talked about people on the fence. People on the fence, it's not a good place to be. Pick a side. Pick a side. So who do you think, if you think that people that have debt have bad credit, raise your hand. And who thinks that people who don't have debt have the bad credit? You're pretty even up. You're pretty even up. But the truth of the matter is that poor folks, and I say, please don't take offense because I consider myself to have been a poor folk. Poor folks have bad credit because they have no debt. They haven't established credit because they're afraid. They're afraid. You don't see check cashing places in middle-class neighborhoods. Check cashing places are robbing our people blind, charging fees that are ridiculous when you can have a checking account in a bank and you don't have to pay those. But people have had bad experiences because there have been predatory practices. There's no doubt about that. But we got to get up. We've got to move on, you know? And so in Massachusetts, wonderful state, poor folks, low-income families can send their children to college for free. That's a fact. You can go to college for free if you're low income. However, to get a full college experience, to get the full experience and live on the campus and get the meal plan and have health insurance and just maybe work a little job 10, 15 hours a week, you're probably going to need to take out a student loan. Now, people say, well, I can't, nobody's going to give me money. Yes, they will. The federal government will give you a guaranteed student loan to cover the difference between what you get for just not having much money and for the total cost of attending college. So it's really important that we not be afraid and that you tell your parents if they're not here, don't be afraid of the debt. Sometimes families say, no, college isn't for you because you're going to have to take out a loan and a loan is bad. No, a loan is investment in yourself. You want to make half as much as the people who went to college, or you want to make twice as much as the people who didn't. I think that's a no-brainer. I'm not a mathematician. That's why I went to law school. I encourage you to do what I say to my own children. My granddaughter is here, who I raise. Use AI to do some research. Use AI. When I was preparing to go to college, we didn't have AI. So we relied on our guidance counselors, and there was some little bootleg computers in the guidance office, and it was very limited. It was very limited. You have it on your phones. I'm sure all of you have iPhones, or maybe not iPhones, smartphones. You have the information there. Use that to find out what's your major, what major do you want, what minor do you want, and you start with what are you good at. You all are all talented. Everyone has strengths. And what are you good at, and what do you like? And then from there, you find out what kind of a career can you have that helps, that you get a chance to learn more about the things that you like. the things that you're good at. And how much money can those jobs make? Now, you know, when you come from low-income backgrounds, it's hard not to care about the money, right? Because you want to be able to buy a house, right? You want to have a nice car. You want to be able to, afford to go out to dinner and go to the movies and stuff. So the money does matter. But it's not only about the money, and I think that it's easier to say once you have some, right? It's easier to say it's not all about the money once you have some. But I would like to just let you know that there are some majors that you can go to in college that as soon as you graduate, you actually have a career. Like it's pretty much guaranteed. There's a shortage of these folks, and you will have a career, and your starting salary will be $50,000 or more, right out of college. And then there are some majors that's not the case. I didn't know, first gen, didn't know, majored in government with a minor in public administration. What job am I going to get with that? Can't be the governor. You think you can government, I'll be the governor. No, it doesn't work that way. So I had to go to law school. And I found out about law school because everybody in that major was going to law school. And if you go to graduate school and you maintain full-time status, guess what? You don't have to pay back your student loans right away. As long as you stay full-time student, you don't have to pay back your student loans. And so I was like, that's for me. What's the rush, right? Go on and get that education so that you can make the money that you want to make. And so does anybody have any ideas what those couple of careers that you can have straight out of college with your bachelor's degree, and you have a career, not a job? There's a difference between a career and a job. Anybody know? Shout it out. Band and folks in the back, anybody? Lawyer? Nope, can't be a lawyer with a bachelor's degree. You got to go to law school. Nurse. That's a perfect one. Teacher. Those are them. I'm going to stop right there. Those are the ones I wanted. Well, see, now you're going over my head. So I'm just going to stick with what I know. Nurse and teacher. And I used to want to be a teacher. And it's funny because I do teach now a little bit at the graduate level, but I wanted to be a high school teacher. But at the time, I don't know what it is. Any teachers in the room? Not college, any high school teachers? Not college, because I know we got college professors in here. Okay, well then you tell me. I see people back there not raising their hands and their students are pointing them out. Now, maybe it was just in Worcester. Maybe they don't do that in Fitchburg. But in Worcester, the teachers pretend that they don't make any money for the jobs that they do. They always say like, we're poor, we don't make any money. But the average salary for a teacher, at least in Worcester, was close to $80,000 a year for 183-day work years. Well, it's a little bit more than that because you have some professional development day. That is a good living. That is a good living. That's a respectable salary. With 2 teachers, they buy homes, buy second homes, vacation. It's a good, respectable living. And I think the part that is probably the only thing that you should think about whether or not you go into the field of education is whether or not you have the number 1 commandment in your heart. Does everybody know what the number 1 commandment is? I'm sorry for talking biblical, but to me, people get their inspiration from a lot of things, and I get it from Dr. King, and I also get it from the Word. And so, what is the number 1 commandment? And that's all you need to be a good teacher. Love. Love. Love is the number 1 commandment. In the Bible, it talks about that. Love God and love your neighbor like they are yourself. And if you love students, they know it. And the teachers who love the students, people say, I don't know why the students act so good for you and they don't act like that for me. I know why. I know why. They know who loves them. And those who love them can influence them, can motivate them, can inspire them. And if you really do love your brother and you know you can teach your brother or your sister something, then, education is a wonderful field. Nursing, same thing. It's interesting that with nursing, they're both nursing and education. They're both helping professions. Both of those professions really make a difference in the world. It's not all about the money. Now, candidly, when I went to law school, I thought I was going to law school to become rich. That's what I thought, and so I was going to be a real estate lawyer, and I was going to be making all this money. And I went to college at 16. I was fortunate that I didn't listen to the guidance counselors. Nothing against guidance counselors, but I didn't listen to them. I made my own schedule. I made sure that I understood which were the classes that gave you the highest class rank. And I took extra classes, and I got out of there at 16. But I didn't, I'm 16, right? So what do I know? And so I didn't major in all the right things, and life was going good. I still managed to graduate on time, thank God, because you have to graduate in 4 years before your financial aid runs out, right? And so it all worked out well. I started to apply to law schools. And I knew I picked St. John's University in New York for a silly reason. Now, I tell you about AI and all the research and everything like that. I'm just going to be candid with you. I'm going to be transparent, as they say. I went to St. John's University because they had a good basketball team. And as you can see, I'm tall, and I figured there'd be some tall boys there. Never dated a basketball player, but that was my motivation. I said, I'm going to St. John's. And so then when it came time to go to law school, I found out that New York was hard. New York is a hard place to be poor. Massachusetts does a really good job. As imperfect as we are, we do a really good job making services and public resources available for low-income families and people. New York is rough. And so I couldn't get back soon enough. So I decided to apply to only law schools in Massachusetts. When I went to college, I applied to only only colleges in New York, because I wanted to be in the big city. Worcester's so boring. I'm going to be in the big city. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. But I applied to every law school I applied to, I got in. But guess which one I didn't apply to? Harvard. And why do you think that is? Why do you think I didn't apply to Harvard? They're too high class. That's exactly right. And it's not because I think that I don't mean that derogatory to Harvard. It was that I didn't think I was good enough. I had doubt, the imposter syndrome, as people say. And funny thing is, I didn't realize that that's what that was until maybe 10 years ago. Because it was it happened to me twice in my career. And so please, have some confidence in yourself, trust yourself. This is where your faith comes in, and the grace that you get from your faith is that when you feel that you're not good enough, don't believe it. Just work, be prepared. The first time that happened to me was when I went to St. John's University. I was accepted into the pre-med program. So I was going to be a doctor, not a lawyer. And it was in biostatistics that on the first week of class, the professor said, if any of you find this material difficult, then you should consider getting out of pre-med, because you don't belong here if this is difficult for you. And without having taken one exam, having one test result I didn't even take one, I believed him, and I changed my major. And right there in the first week, I had to complete the class. I didn't even drop the class, but I changed my major. And that was because I didn't think I was good enough, and all I needed was someone to suggest that maybe it was true. And then that still was with me. No one said anything to me. No one said, don't apply to Harvard, but that's the only school I didn't apply to. So we just have to be careful. Those are the doubts that we have, and go back to our faith. So things were going along very nicely. I loved Boston University Law School. It was wonderful. And, I was going to be this rich real estate mogul. And bad thing happened. First big bad thing that happened in my life. And I hate to tell you that even when you do everything right and you're a good person, sometimes bad things happen. And so my first bad thing was failed the bar exam. And that was a big blow. People say, oh, I'm depressed. You don't know depressed until you're depressed. I literally couldn't get out of bed, didn't call into work. Because I just didn't know what I was going to do. And the way the bar exam works, well then, I think now it's online, so it might be a little different, but it's 12-hour test. And you take it in July and you get your results right for Thanksgiving. Just in time for all your family to want to know, did you pass, did you pass, did you pass? And so that took the air out of my sail. But I eventually, my friends and everybody convinced me, you still have a job, go back to work, you have a lot of education, don't worry about it. And back then, people would always tell you that John Kennedy failed the bar exam too, and he was, big time, and so if he can fail it, then anybody can. I think, didn't you tell me, Asia, that Kim Kardashian failed the bar exam? Well, if Kim Kardashian can fail the bar exam, anybody can fail the bar exam. And I said, that sounded, it was somewhat comforting, but in some way not, because they didn't need it. I had student loans that were going to become due. So I needed it to pay my bills, but I could work, and so I did, and that's how I ended up getting into a career in civil rights. So I started working for the Worcester Public Schools, started helping people to get access to public employment, because, there is a lot of truth to the fact that in the public sector, there is a lot of who you know stuff. People have people who make calls for people and help people, and there's families who are in the same industry and they help people. And so my job was to be the person who you knew. You didn't have to know me. But I was there, help you to make sure that your credentials were what they needed to be, and help you get into these jobs. And then once you were there, if you experienced discrimination or any type of mistreatment, I was there to have your back and make sure that did not continue. And so I ended up realizing that was my calling. That's what I was supposed to be doing all along. I wasn't supposed to be a rich real estate lawyer. I was supposed to help people. And so I was happy doing that, but my girlfriend, who's also an attorney, said to me, Stacy, you really need to take the bar exam again. If you don't at least read a lot of dense text, then you're going to become less able to pass the exam. How many of you work out? Raise your hand, anybody. Anybody work out? I gotta put mine down because I'll be lying if I say that. So I've been told that people who work out, if you take a break, it becomes more difficult. If you, like that, your muscles get, they're just not what they were. The same is true for your brain. So if you want to stay sharp, you need to read. And so she gave me this book, the autobiography of Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was a Secretary of State, but he loved wars. He loved military. So it was the absolute most boring book I ever read, and I couldn't do it. And so I took my bar exam books and I stacked them up next to it, and they were maybe only about 3 or 4 inches taller when I stacked them all up. And I liked that stuff. So I said, I'd rather just study than read this book. So I studied in secret, and I took the exam in secret so that no one would be asking me, did I pass? And it worked, I passed. But by then I knew my purpose. And so once you know your purpose, it's a game changer, It is absolutely a game changer. So I don't want to go on too long. Why not, huh? Thank you. So let me go back down to your purpose, Your purpose is everything. And it takes a while before you know it. But listen, pay attention. You get gifts. What you're good at isn't a coincidence. Those are your gifts. And you nurture them. And you remember your key purpose in life. Find your support systems. Find your tribe. Find the people who will be there for you. I was fortunate. My parents were always on my side. Those of you who are in public realm, you'll know that you got a lot of critics. You know, when you get up in front of a microphone and you're doing things and you end up in the paper, there's always a lot of people who are second guessing and making criticisms. And my parents would always say, don't pay them any mind. It didn't matter what they said. Don't pay them any mind. You know, where were they when you were up studying? You know. And so you need those people who are always going to be on your side and tell you the truth, though. You need people to be honest with you, but you want people who will be on your side. And I was very fortunate. In the early days, I would be the only woman in the room. And often the only person of color in the room. And it was, in the early days, it was those white men who supported me and gave me access, who put me in the room. Superintendent John Durkin, he put me in the room. Bill Densmore and John Nelson, business tycoons, put me in the room. Said, Stacy, you should run for office, and helped me. Taught me how to do it, taught me how to feel comfortable in a room like this, donated money so that I could be successful, because when you don't have that connection where people already know you, you have to buy, then you had to buy advertising. Now I guess it's a whole different thing. I don't really know how you do it. Those gifts, that was the grace that I had. Those people were there for me, and now it's my job to be there for you. And it's our job to be there for you and to put you in rooms and give you opportunities. And I love doing it. I really do love doing it. I don't know. I think I probably have said all that I need to say. But I would like to say, again, I'm so impressed with the turnout of all the young folks in this room, and I think that's your superintendent in the back there, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for you to show up, because today is not supposed to be a day off, it's supposed to be a day on, and there's so much to do, and it's not just on this day, on this Martin Luther King Day. And I think I'll close with something that I just got yesterday from my pastor. I told you I met Linda at St. Peter's, and so I'm a Catholic by birth, but my great-grandmother founded a Pentecostal church in Worcester, Mount Olive, that is still functioning today. And I have discovered a new non-denominational church down the street that I love, Jubilee. And yesterday at the service, the minister talked about how, you know, as Christians, in these dark times, as someone said today, I think that was Reverend Annie, that said, you know, these are some dark times. It's not a time for people of faith, whether or not you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, people of faith, to be scared. Don't be scared. Just know that, you know, when you're looking for that person who's going to make a difference, look inside, because it's you. You will have opportunities to make a difference, and you just have to, don't be afraid, don't be scared. Show your faith, and just remember that you are here for a reason, and that there are resources to support you, and I just can't wait to see the great things that you all are going to do. Thank you so much for having me here. It has been my pleasure.
Thank you, Stacy, for your challenging, inspirational, and very enlightening speech. Thank you. We appreciate that. Before I call on Jerry Sabatini to give us another music performance, may I just invite my fellow coalition members in the room to please stand. Thank you so much. Thank you. These are the ladies and gentlemen who make this program a success and who have also committed to continue the fight for freedom and justice, especially at a time when we have a lot of controversies here at home and elsewhere in the world, at a time when peace and justice is continually threatened everywhere in the world. Thank you for your courage and to be the voice of the voiceless. Jerry Sabatini, music.
Thank you so much. It's fantastic to be here. I'm really inspired by everything that's been going on. And Martin Luther King, if I may, was a huge inspiration to me at a very young age, and I didn't really understand why until I found music. And specifically a music called jazz music, which at the height of it, at its best, is a music of self-expression. And in that form of self-expression, you can let yourself be known, you can take a stance, you can speak a language that is pure feeling. And there was something about that that was fantastic for me. And when as a young boy, listening to Martin Luther King's speeches, I understood the words, but I understood the music in which he spoke, the rhythms in which he spoke, the sound in which his voice projected, expressed a word or a sentence or a phrase or an idea. It just sounded like music to me. And when I began to play jazz, I realized that Martin Luther King was one of the greatest jazz musicians I had ever heard. Briefly, before I play, in 1964, Martin Luther King wrote an essay for the Berlin Jazz Festival. And at this time, like the first jazz festival was in 1958 or something like that, Newport Jazz Festival. So in 1964, Martin Luther King was invited to write an essay that would appear in the program for the festival. And in the festival were many American musicians who had moved to Europe at that time, many black American musicians who moved to Europe because it was a better way for them to live and be appreciated for the music and jazz and that kind of thing. So the whole culture was just more rich with this kind of music and the acceptance of this kind of music. And so Martin Luther King, when I realized when I realized this essay existed, I read it and I was once again incredibly inspired. It made me feel fantastic, like in some way, Martin Luther King, I had this connection with Martin Luther King that I was one of these musicians who has dedicated their life to music that he was expressing when he wrote some of these words. And I just want to read a few excerpts, and you'll get the idea. This is all published so you can find it, and it's a short essay, so if you would. God has wrought many things out of oppression. He has endowed his creatures with the capacity to create, and from this capacity has flowed the sweet songs of sorrow and joy that have allowed man to cope with his environment in many different situations. Jazz speaks for life. The blues tells the story of life's difficulty, and if you think for a moment, you will realize that they take the hardest realities of life and put them into music, only to come out with some new hope or sense of triumph. This is triumphant music. Much of the power of our freedom movement in the United States has come from this music. It has strengthened us with its sweet rhythms when courage began to fail. It has calmed us with its rich harmonies when spirits were down. And now jazz is exported to the world, for in the particular struggle of the Negro in America, there is something akin to the universal struggle of modern man. Everybody has the blues. Everybody longs for meaning. Everybody needs to love and be loved. Everybody needs to clap hands and be happy. Everybody longs for faith. In music, especially this broad category called jazz, there is a stepping stone towards all of these. 1964, yeah. Not my words, but thank you. 1964. Also in 1964, there was a lot of great music. So I got Theo and David up here to accompany me. Very spontaneous, very jazz thing to do. Ask them to come up, and then we're just going to create a song. But this is Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come.
great performance. Thank you for volunteering your musical talents to serve the community on this great event. Thank you. As it's been customary over the years, we usually invite a couple of young leaders to come up and tell us what this day actually means to them. Before I invite the young leaders to come up, I first want to invite Christelle Goyette. And Christelle Goyette will tell us what this day means to her and to someone with disability. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Crystal Marie Gayette. I just want to take a minute. The reason why I'm speaking today, because I'm talking about on behalf of about civil rights, because I remember back in the 50s and 60s, people with disabilities were not treated as fairly like most of us now. Because back in the day, we were all put in institutions, and I feel kind of sad for it. And so this is my legacy. This is my little interpretation on I Have a Dream, what Dr. King was talking about. I Have a Dream by Krista Marie Gayette. I have a dream that people respect one another. I hope everyone will be considerate towards others. My friend says we all have our opinions, but if you're going to be mean, be rude and nasty, bye. So for the legacy, I want people so that our generation can do what our hearts. I have a dream that our country of the United States of America, that founded fathers with that we are all free in God's eyes, men, women, and children. I have a dream we should live in harmony one another. We can be anything as long as we have a plan, have a dream, and if you pursue anything as long as you follow your heart is saying and live like brothers and sisters should. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christelle. For the students who are young leaders, I prefer to call you, if you could come up and tell us what this day means to you. When you come up, please, you say your name and then present. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Liriano. And I'm going to tell you a couple things about my feelings and what it means for this to be Martin Luther King Jr. Day. In a broken and divided world, Martin Luther King Jr. Day represents a call to action to help heal this world. His infamous quotes call for peace and fighting against injustice. If you were wondering what kind of person you'd be 70 to 80 years ago, which isn't that long ago, by the way, take a look at how you're reacting to modern injustice, and you have your answer. The difference between then and now is that we live in the present. We still have a chance to make things right, to be a part of the solution. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the key inspirations for me as a young kid because he symbolizes an idea that I want to uphold throughout my entire life. That no one deserves to be oppressed or stifled. That we deserve a world in which everyone can live without fear that they may not be with their family members tomorrow. Martin Luther King calls us to be good to our neighbors, to fight against oppressive governmental systems, and to speak out. Speaking out is scary. You may not want to do it because of many reasons. The definition of bravery, however, is not a lack of fear. It is acting despite that fear. So do it scared. Do it anyway. Because I can guarantee you that you are not the only person who recognizes the problems in this country as of 2025, but in the world as well. You are not alone in wanting to do the right thing. I love many of Dr. King's quotes. One I personally love is, quote, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and critically," end quote. That quote was a huge part of my decision to pursue higher education. and I'm personally about to finish my bachelor's degree and then pursue a master's in counseling. Education is my key to helping the world be a little better. Education has given me experiences that nothing else in the world could. And education lets me know that the fight and struggle to make this world a better place is worth it. Dr. King inspires me to be part of that solution, to be on the right side of history. And when my future grandchildren are talking about the past couple of years, they'll ask me, what did you do about what was happening from 2020 to 2026? And I hope that I'm able to tell them that I did the right thing, just like Dr. King would want us to. As long as we're alive, we have infinite chances to do just that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hepzibah Adegbola, and I'm a sophomore in FHS. What does Martin Luther King Day mean to me? Well, I remember the first time I learned about Martin Luther King. I was in the 3rd grade, and it was during Black History Month. As my teacher spoke, I remember being so amazed by the amount of dedication, determination, and the amount of courage it must have taken Martin Luther King to do what he did. As someone who wasn't born here and as a young Black girl in America, I know what it feels like to know that society has been built to bring you down. And I know the pressure of that realization. To believe that instead of Martin Luther King doing the easy thing of staying quiet and content in such a crushing situation, he chose to be courageous and he decided to represent the people who were too scared or too helpless to represent themselves. To me, Martin Luther King Day represents how much we can accomplish when we choose to be brave.
Hello, my name is Michoki Kabaya, and I am a sophomore attending Fitchburg High School. What does Martin Luther King Jr. Day mean to me? To many, it means a day off from school or a break from work, which is extremely understandable since there isn't much to look forward to in the month of January. However, as a Kenyan, Martin Luther King Jr. Day holds a much deeper meaning to me. Growing up with a strong cultural background, I was taught the importance of resilience, respect, and never judging others based on personal prejudice. Values that Dr. King strongly stood for as well. He fought against inequality not through violence, but through courageous words and an unwavering belief in justice. His dream pushes me forward during moments when change feels impossible, reminding me that progress does not come easily, especially for those who are marginalized or put in limiting boxes. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is not just a break, but a time to reflect, celebrate, and to remind ourselves that change begins when we choose to stand up for what's right and work towards all future built on fairness and respect for all.
Hi everybody, my name is Blessing Yule and I'm a student at Fitchburg State.
Hi, my name is Faith Kamoni and I'm a student at FHS.
Martin Luther King Jr. means a lot to me because he showed, Martin Luther King Jr. means a lot to me because he showed that real change can come from courage, faith, and compassion. He stood up for equality even when it was difficult and dangerous, reminding us that our voices matter and that justice is worth fighting for.
His dream continues to inspire me to treat others with fairness, speak up when something is wrong, and believe that unity can create a better future. Because of Dr. King, I know that one person's courage can make a lasting difference.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sydney. Could you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. Oh no. Okay, I'll just hold it. Hello everyone, my name is Sydney Amelia Nortellis and I'm a student at Fitchburg State University. And throughout my schooling experience, I've heard Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech from elementary school up until now. But as I've grown older, I've came to understand that it's more than just a speech. It's one of the many reasons why I'm able to attend my university, play alongside my teammates, and have access to various opportunities without being denied solely based off the color of my skin. That dream, I feel, connects deeply with my own background, where I come from two immigrant, hardworking parents who had dreams of their own. One being a dream of giving their children the same opportunity that Dr. King spoke about. As a Haitian American freedom, strength, and resilience has always been instilled in me. Each New Year, we celebrate hard work, perseverance, good health, and blessings that the New Year would bring. In Haitian culture, we eat soup jumu on New Year's Day to honor and claim our freedom from French slavery. That tradition reminds me that freedom is something that should be cherished, protected, and lived out every day. As Dr. King said, we allow freedom to ring. When we let it ring from every city, every hamlet, every city, every state, every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men, white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing. Dr. Martin Luther King's Day reminds us to love one another, regardless of what we may look like on the outside, but what truly matters within. We bleed the same blood, breathe the same air, and also live a life that's not always promised. But what matters most is how we choose to live it. This day is more than a holiday, it's a living story, one that is still being written. So how will you choose to finish it? Thank you all for taking your time out to come together and celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's Day, a day that God has made. Now I'd like to introduce Fitchburg State's Dance Club as they'll be doing a performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Great performance. Now I invite Joan to come up for Fill Me Up, Joan Malinger.
Good afternoon. My name is Joan Malinka, and I'll be performing Fill Me Up by Tasha Cobbs. You provide the fire, I'll provide the sacrifice. You provide the spirit, Fill me up, God. Fill me up, God. Fill me up, God. Fill me up. Fill me up till I overflow. I wanna run over. I wanna run over. Fill me up till I overflow. I wanna run over. I wanna run over. Fill me up till I overflow. I wanna run over. I wanna run over. Fill me up till I overflow. I wanna run over. I wanna run over. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thanks, everyone. We are almost coming to the end of the program. Thanks for your patience. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am with the wonderful performances that we're having here today. I will invite the president of the Montachusett MLK Coalition, Linda Mason, to come up and give us the milestones and memorials. And then after that, we would have another performance by the Fitchburg High School FHS Band and Chorus. Thank you.
In 2026, we recognize a couple of important milestones. 2026 marks the 60th year anniversary of the MLK holiday. Following Dr. King's assassination on April 4th, 1968, calls to honor his legacy began almost immediately. In 1983, the U.S. Congress passed legislation establishing the holiday, and President Ronald Reagan signed the King Holiday Bill into law. Over a decade later, in 1994, President Bill Clinton signed the King Holiday and Service Act, which established the MLK Day as a day of service and encouraged people to volunteer in their communities as a way to honor the life of Dr. King. Even though the first official observance took place in 1986, it was not adopted by all 50 states until 2000. Martin Luther King Day, also known as MLK Day, is a federal holiday observed nationwide and recognized by all 50 states. The day honors the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader whose most well-known areas of advocacy include civil rights, racial equality, voting rights, nonviolent resistance, economic justice, fair housing, and opposition to militarism and poverty. MLK Day commemorates Dr. King's leadership in the American Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Through peaceful protest and powerful speeches, he challenged racial segregation and inspired a nation to pursue social justice. The holiday is designated as a national day of service, encouraging Americans to volunteer and give back to their communities. This annual holiday falls on the third Monday in January each year in honor of Dr. King's birthday, January 15th, 1929. Although the campaign to make this a national holiday began shortly after his assassination in 1968, it was not approved as a national holiday until 1983. It then took 17 more years for it to be recognized by all 50 states. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, or MLK Day, is often referred to as a day on, not a day off, because the day is intended as a national day of service. 2026 also marks the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. 2026 marks a milestone of both progress and persistence in the United States with the 100th anniversary of federal recognition for Black Americans. Began as a week of learning and recognition called Negro History Week in 1926. It grew into a month-long observance of Black history throughout February. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, a historian and educator, only the second African American to receive a PhD from Harvard University following W.E.B. Du Bois, fathered the movement. As a son of formerly enslaved parents, Dr. Woodson understood that denying people of their history denies them of their humanity. Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from the teaching of biography and history, he wrote. To combat that, he launched Negro History Week to coincide with the February birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, whom he felt were symbolically tied to African American freedom. His goal was to integrate Black history into the educational curriculum, public libraries, local churches, and communities at large across the nation. For 40 years, educators embraced it, churches amplified it, civic groups built programming around it. In the 1960s, as the civil rights movement emerged, Negro History Week began to reflect the urgency of the time. By 1976, the United States expanded the week-long recognition into Black History Month. Woodson's vision remained unchanged. Black history is not a sidebar to American history. It is part of it. Black history is often associated with familiar icons: Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. Yet the deeper intention is about uncovering the thousands of stories once ignored: scientists, entrepreneurs, artists, educators, inventors, academics, policy leaders, soldiers, and everyday citizens who helped shape the nation. For students, leaders, and global citizens, engaging with Black history is not only about honoring resilience, it is about building cultural competency, learning from systemic injustice, and developing the leadership skills required to an increasingly diverse world. Woodson warned, if a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It stands in danger of being exterminated. Black History Month is not simply a date on a calendar. It is a powerful reminder to recognize the generations who fought for inclusion in the historical record, even when the nation resisted. As we pause in 2026 to honor a century of commemoration, the message remains clear and as necessary as ever. Black history is American history, and remembering it strengthens us all. As well, we've lost quite a few leaders, civil rights warriors in 2025. I'll share just five of those. Alexis Herman was the first Black U.S. Secretary of Labor. She died on April 25th at the age of 77. She served as Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton from 1997 to 2001. Danielle Spencer, actress known for depicting Dee Thomas on What's Happening, died on August 11th at age 60. She was the first black female child to feature regularly in a network TV series. Vivian Ayers Allen, poet and cultural activist, died on August 18 at 102. She authored Spice of Dawns and the verse novel Hawk, advocating for education and literacy. She was Rice University's first African American faculty member. Viola Ford Fletcher, one of the last known survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, died on November 24th at 111. She was 7 years old when the massacre destroyed Greenwood, Tulsa's thriving black neighborhood. Rod Page, the first African American to serve as United States Secretary of Education, died December 9th at age 92. He was appointed by President George W. Bush.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you. That was great to see the milestones of the civil rights movement and how we have come up to this point. That was very enlightening. Thank you. Just to say, wait a little bit after the benediction, that's when the raffle tickets will be drawn. So please follow the benediction. Just be patient, and the raffle tickets will be drawn for you. We now have a performance by the Fitchburg High School Band and Chorus, Hymn to Freedom, and I Dream a World. Thank you.
Such I dream of such I dream of such I dream of such I dream of such I dream.
Thank you. So, Reverend Caroline, who you're invited now to close it. But I just wanted to take this moment to say a great thanks to everybody for all your support, for being here with us, and all the volunteers who work behind the scenes to make this program a success. We are eternally grateful. Without you, nothing would have been possible. Thank you so much, everybody. Reverend Hu, thank you. Reverend Caroline, please come up for the closing.
Yeah, so I am her delegate. I am the Reverend Annie Louise Belmer, Galilee Spiritual Life Center, and I am here to just wish us many blessings as we prepare to leave this place, but not from the presence of our God, not from the presence of each other. So as soon as you can, join together with one another via meeting, Facebook, something, to be together in service. So as we reach out, as we continue the celebration of service and love, as we continue the celebration of community, and as we reflect on the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., that we will act in courage, kindness, and connection. While we are here today, let us remember education and service, education and community. Let us remember our young people. Let us remember to reach out and touch one of their hands as we lead them into their next destination. So we say thank you for Dr. Martin Luther King's service of love, his overcoming differences, his acts of kindness, and his drum major of love, blessings, and togetherness. So may we leave this place, but again, not from the presence of God. And may we continue the legacy of Dr. King to serve in love. Amen.